Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Paul Lopez.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And let's jump straight into it, Paul. We have loads to discuss this morning.
Indeed, so there's a lot to look forward to in our show this morning. In our first conversation, we'll have Mr. Assad Shoman, and he'll be on set to share insights on the conflict between U.S. and Iran. And so he'll be in a bit earlier than we usually have our first guest. And so it's going to be a slight shift in our show for this morning. But then in our second conversation, we'll have more than a crown, the conversation surrounding more than a crown, getting to know the Miss Universe Belize delegates. We've been having them on set individually throughout the course of the last few weeks. Well, today, based on what my understanding, we're going to have all of them on set. We're going to see how we're going to fit them all on set and have that conversation for you this morning. And then in our third conversation, it's all about unlocking young minds with STEAM this summer. It's no time to rest and relax. It's time to get in your grind as students and unlock your minds with STEAM this summer. And then our fourth conversation is all about building the next generation of Belizean filmmakers. You're going to hear loads about filmmaking and how Belizeans can take advantage of that. And then finally, last but certainly not least, sharing the work behind MUB Bakers' sweet success. Mwah. We're going to have that as our final conversation. Very sweet and delectable conversation to end this morning's show. Sabrina, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. How you doing?
I am doing fine. It's Tuesday, June 24th, and I have to start the show. It would be remiss of me not to start the show by extending a happy anniversary to my wife. Today we celebrate 2 years. Yeah, so it's a special day for us. Unfortunately, it's a work day for us as well, both of us. But we probably will make some garnaches and drink a Coke Zero and a Coke tonight and just call it a night, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, we're young adults with a baby, and life is just hectic right now, and life is just lifing. But 2 years, maybe our 10th year will be somewhere in Spain or Paris, who knows?
You know what?
That's just what
we're calling it that it'll take place earlier.
Yes, I just want to extend that to her.
Yeah, happy birthday to you and Amber.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful couple.
It's not our birthday, anniversary.
Happy anniversary. I'm sorry, we have people in my ears, our producer saying, I want to send you that Spain, Paul. Yeah. And so it gets in my head. But we do have loads of conversations to jump into. I also want us to quickly get into the weather. As we can see outside, if you're here in the old capital, it looks like overcast skies. And I know that we have been enjoying, and I say enjoying subjectively, some showers lately. And so we do got to get that official update from the folks at the Met Service. Moving straight into it, today's weather calls for sunny with some cloudy spells, along with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms over most areas. Cloudy spells tonight with isolated showers or thunderstorms will also be happening as well. In today's temperatures, the coastal areas can expect 88 degrees Fahrenheit in the highs and 77 degrees Fahrenheit for the lows. Inland, though, we'll be expecting up to 92 degrees Fahrenheit for highs and only 72 degrees Fahrenheit for lows. In the hills, it's set to be much cooler today with highs of 78 and a low of 66. In our extended forecast, today and Thursday calls for temperatures in the 80s. Actually, most of the rest of the week, really. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will be enjoying temperatures for highs in the 80s and lows in the 70s. And I think this also goes hand in hand with the showers that we have been experiencing as well. Moving along for our astronomical forecast, the sun rose this morning at 5:19 a.m. and is set to set at 6:30 p.m. The moon rose at 4:15 a.m. and is set to set at 6:07 p.m. Our marine conditions, the sea state is light to chop and the winds are blowing from east to southeast at 10 to 20 knots. Today's tides, a low tide, a high tide that is set to take place at 8:16 a.m. and a low tide at 4:02 p.m. Another high will be taking place at 10:22 p.m. and tomorrow a low at 2:46 a.m. All right, that does it for our eye on the weather. This, what you are seeing on the screen, is a satellite imagery courtesy of the Belize National Meteorological Service. I think this also goes hand in hand with some of the reports we have been telling you. There will be cloudy spells and isolated showers, and so this could also give you an idea of what that is looking like on the satellite imagery. Paul, though?
Certainly, Sabrina, I could see clouds over Belize. It looks like southern Belize is getting some weather more significantly than up this side, and so we do hope that everyone tries to stay dry as possible today. Those umbrellas, raincoats, whatever you need to stay dry and ensure that you remain healthy today and throughout the rest of the week. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to jump into that very important conversation about the conflict between U.S. and Iran. We're going to have Assad Shoman on set, and we're going to ask him how has the history between the U.S. and Iran shaped the current tensions. We'll be right back.
My name is Palma. I'm the owner of CRK Services, and I've been operating this business for 7 years in Big Falls, Toledo District. I use the Belize Bank online services because it's quite fast, reliable, and easy. Before I started to use the Belize Bank online services, I had to make a lot of trips into town, which cost me a lot, especially fuel. So the fact that I have to use my credit card every day, I can do an online instant payment and make my life easy. My customers can do payments towards me and it reaches in instant. It's fast, it's convenient for my business. I don't have to be up and down. I can do it anywhere I want. I would recommend you using the Belize Bank online services because for you, it will save you a lot of time.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are jumping headfirst into our first conversation, and we are pleased to say that we're joined this morning by historian, also former ambassador, Assad Shoman. He is here to discuss the current conflict that we have been overseeing, also highlighting in our news spaces, not only here locally but internationally. That is the conflict between Iran and Israel. Most recently, we've also been dialoguing and highlighting the United States' role in this as well. And so this morning, we are giving Mr. Shoman an opportunity to engage with us and also allow you guys to learn a bit more on this conflict and potentially how this could affect Belize as well. Good morning, Mr. Shoman.
Good morning to you and to your listeners and viewers too.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine.
The last time we were here, we were speaking about the conflict with Israel and Gaza and how Hamas is involved in that as well. Before we even highlight what is currently taking place, because I know that in just a matter of 48 hours, there's been deeper conflict taking place where the United States got even more involved, and then a ceasefire, and then a violation of a ceasefire. But since the conversation that we had about a few months ago, is there any connection between what was taking place with Hamas and Israel and Iran's involvement?
Well, there's a complete connection. Yeah, complete connection. And I mean, you have to understand, you have to frame this thing historical. You said we want to look at history, right?
Correct.
So it's all about, in my view, it's all about colonization and decolonization. So that the state of Israel was born at a time when, just after the Second World War, remember, it was the beginning supposedly of decolonization. When all the countries of Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, year by year became independent. That same year, a colony was created. Europeans came from Europe, settled on the land in West Asia, right, in Palestine, and then drove the people out after a campaign of terror, terrorist attacks, murders, mass murders, and established that state. And since then, everything else that has happened until now is playing out that colonization and the resistance to that colonization and the attempts at decolonization.
So
I love that you painted that backdrop, Mr. Shoman, because what we are looking at currently, most recently, was a ceasefire where Iran and Israel expressed that they would essentially stop what was taking place, what looked like the emergence or the start of World War III, as some people are calling it. Since then, there has been missile attacks, and we also heard from President Trump just about a few hours ago via his social media platform saying that there was violation that took place concerning that ceasefire. In regards to the United States involvement, what contextualizes the U.S.'s involvement? Is it simply a power move for ammunition to support Israel, or is there a deeper interest there?
When you say the U.S. involvement, you mean this?
In the war itself, we
the
also
immediate attack on
the
Iran.
nuclear plant. Yes.
Well, I mean, the Israeli state has for years painted Iran as the big enemy, right? Because Israel, don't forget, has been able to maintain itself as a settler colonial state, as an apartheid state, right? By defending itself, so to speak, you know, that word defense, really attacking its neighbors, picking off quite easy targets. So that, Israel is known also as the assassination nation. Remember how they got to Hezbollah? By assassinating the leadership. How they started this? By assassinating top leaders, and they've done it all over the world. And they have helped to do it all over the world. Importantly for Belize, if people who are interested in history, they were doing it with Guatemala in the 70s and 80s, right? They armed the Guatemalan military, they trained them and told them, you must do to them Indian like we do to the Palestinians. You know, these are things that are on historical record, right?
Yeah.
So they've been used to doing that, right? And suddenly now, that's not happening. They decapitate a large part of the military leadership, the scientific leadership, but then they start getting pounded. For the first time, really.
From Iran.
From Iran, right? So there's a retaliation, there's a defense, a real defense. Because what Israel did was an unprovoked attack, totally unprovoked.
They're saying, though, that they're trying to destroy the nuclear plant that they claim Iran has been putting together all these years, and quote unquote, they were so close to achieving the completion of this nuclear plant to be able to achieve mass destruction.
All right, but don't forget that this happened in the middle of negotiations between Iran and the United States of America in order to control that nuclear situation, right? And in the middle of that negotiation, just before, 2 days before the next session, they attack, they decapitate the leadership, they try to kill the head negotiator, as they had done in Lebanon, as they did in Palestine. You know, that is their modus operandi, to terrorist attacks and assassinations, and of course, mass murder of civilians. So I don't know what the count is. Have you heard, like over 400, right?
Yeah.
Mostly civilians killed in Iran.
I'm not familiar with it. In terms of Iran, the strikes on Iran.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much of this conflict between Iran and the US, based on your understanding, has to do with support for Israel versus the US looking after its interest in the Middle East?
I think it's mostly to do with support for Israel, the actual military situation, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, they have been able to negotiate with Iran all the time. Iran has always been willing to. Iran has been a part of this non-proliferation treaty. As you know, what was it, in 2015, 2016 with Obama? They signed a treaty which they have been following. Everybody in the world that monitors this say, yes, they have been following that treaty. They have been complying. And then the United States withdrew from that and started punishing, really serious sanctions that made people suffer and so on. So that was done always at the instance and at the push of Israel. In fact, some people were amazed that Israel dared to defy the U.S., which was in negotiation, talking to these people, and then you go and bomb them and try and kill the top negotiator. So it seemed very odd, but I believe Israel was forcing the hand of the United States, and it successfully did that.
Yes.
Because, as you know, the Israeli lobby in the United States is very, very powerful. It controls the members of the House of Representatives and of the Senate.
Within
the U.S.
In the United States of America.
Why is that?
Yeah, that's
because
what I was
it's
asking.
the money. So for example, you've heard of a couple, I forget their names, a couple of Democratic candidates who were to run in primary to represent the Democratic Party in Parliament, and they had made statements in favor of Palestine, right, or against the genocide or whatever. And Israel, the Israeli lobby in the United States, which is several organizations, the main one is one called AIPAC. They funded contestants to those on the other side, or contested that, and they won. So that the person who is now, or two of them in this case, who is now in the House of Representatives is a direct result of this lobby. But almost all of the representatives. If you remember when they declared war criminal, the Prime Minister of Israel went to the United States of America, a wanted man internationally, and addressed the what they call it,
the Congress?
The Congress, the two joined together. The man could hardly speak. He had to beg them, please stop. They were clapping. Every minute they stand up and clap. I think it was over 50 standing ovations. Whatever he said, they would get up and there's a famous line where he said, please don't clap, listen to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that gives you an idea of how much that, a man who is committing genocide, who is wanted by the criminal code, appears before you, and you can't let him speak because you're clapping.
Well,
it sounds weird. It's very weird. But that shows to you, that proves to you, that tells you in visual form the power of the Israeli lobby in the United States and in the United Kingdom, don't forget, as well.
Based on your understanding, how long has Iran's intent or actions to build up its military strength and resilience, whether by men, women, or weapons otherwise, how long has that been in the making, and how great of a concern has that been for the Middle East over time?
I believe that whatever Iranian attempt to arm itself and to be able to produce a nuclear weapon, although don't forget, let's make it clear that they had no intention to build a nuclear weapon, as far as even the United States intelligence community is concerned. Remember, in March of this year, in a statement to Congress, the head of that intelligence service says there is no indication that Iran is building a nuclear weapon.
Yes.
Nor that the supreme leader has changed his order not to build a nuclear weapon.
But then we also heard directly from the president of the U.S. saying, look, I disregard that. We believe what we believe.
You heard that, yes.
One of the things I want us to, and perhaps it was already covered, but just to paint a clear picture as possible, Mr. Shoman, the conflict with Israel and Iran, you stated, goes all the way back to colonization and decolonization. But when we look at it in more recent times, it could also be considered an alliance of the two. Iran perhaps supporting Gaza and what is taking place with the people of Palestine, and of course Israel being their enemy in this case, the United States supporting Israel. Could this also be another, I'd say, factor in what is causing this deep, intense war that is taking place and conflict?
It's absolutely the factor. You put your finger on it. That is what it's all about.
So with that being at play, and now we know now that there are these nations that are willing to put their money where their mouth is. We've seen most recently what the United States has done. We also know the role that the United States has played in supporting Israel. My understanding is that Israel did not have the war weaponry needed to destroy the nuclear plant because of its placement underground. Could this mean then that the United States has more power than we actually think they do? Because you've expressed the Israel being very influential in the dynamic of the United States. But I would also say the US has a lot of power, because Israel would not be able to achieve what they would want to without the United States machinery.
Oh, the United States has all the power. It has had it for a very long time.
So it's perhaps more interchangeably.
More
interchangeably, where the Israel has influence, but United States has the money.
United States has the power, right? Has the power. So at any time, remember now, we hear the word ceasefire now, and we say, right, that ceasefire, Iran, and this is the first time that Israel is meeting any opposition to its barrage of assassination and mass murder, right? It is very good. Its army is wonderful at killing civilians, hundreds of thousands of civilians, children, at starving little children and babies and women. It's very good. But now for the first time it meets an adversary that can respond.
Powerful.
Yeah.
And then what does it do? It cries for a ceasefire.
But I'm sure...
You can't take it.
But I'm sure for you, where do you stand on all of that, though? Just want to get your sentiments on all of that. The loss of lives, the destruction of homes and the uprooting of people's livelihood. We're not there, so we don't understand the reality.
Right.
Standing on the ground, looking up, seeing buildings, children on both sides from both countries, mothers mourning. Where do you stand?
It's not so much on both sides. It's really very one-sided.
Yeah.
It's very one-sided. It's the people of Palestine, and particularly of Gaza, but more and more of the West Bank, what they call the West Bank. Don't forget that. There are a lot of pogroms going. You know what a pogrom is, right? Pogroms against the civilian population. They have no excuse there. They don't look for an excuse. They say their stated aim is to take the territory. Their aim from the time it was founded, the entity called Israel, from the date it was founded, it said so clearly that they have this biblical justification for wanting to take over the entire territory. And they want territory but without the Palestinians. So their goal has always been to exterminate the native.
It's so
to get rid of
interesting.
them either by murder or by expulsion.
It's so interesting that you say that, Mr. Shoman, and for me, because I'm trying to follow as many media platforms as I possibly can, you would also know that when it comes to this war and all the parties involved, certain media outlets are going to give you skewed versions of what is taking place. I've seen in a media outlet where the president of Israel essentially said that they are not there to target the civilians. They are not trying to hurt the people of Iran. They are seeking to destroy the regime that is existing over in Iran, that is suffocating, stifling the people.
Does that sound familiar to you? So in other words, they were saying in Gaza, we are not hurting any civilian. We're targeting Hamas,
The regime.
terrorists, and the regime. Our intention is not, and we are not, because we have very precise weapons. We're not killing civilians. I mean, who believes that anymore? Or who even pretends to believe that anymore? Because for months and months, Western media, Western leaders pretended at least to believe what Israel was saying. They can't anymore. It's so obvious. I mean, they have different ways of luring civilians. First, they did it by saying you have to evacuate this area, go to that safe area. That safe area is bombed. They tell them go somewhere else. They move them from place to place. And now they found a new way of doing it. Putting them into pens and saying you're going to get food here, we're going to give aid. And they start shooting and killing them.
Would you say that
So
the president is the winner in all of this?
Who is?
The president of Israel?
Is the winner.
He gets the boast.
He has been able to survive. He was able to manipulate the situation so that he lured
Certainly.
the United States into making that attack, right? However, that attack was not, I mean, it was a kind of coordinated attack, wasn't it?
And they said it took months to
Yeah.
organize.
But I mean, they sort of let the Iranians know that they were coming, what they were going to do, and the retaliation. Iran paid back the favor. We say we're going to hit that such and such a base. They were able to evacuate it in time. So it was like a show of support for the Prime Minister of Israel, in return for which he demanded a ceasefire. Right? Well, remember I was saying the word ceasefire comes easy to our mouth now, but a few months ago it was illegal almost to say that word in the United States of America. If people called for a ceasefire, that sounded like they were terrorists.
That's true.
Right? You remember that?
I mean, even...
And it's still happening, really.
I just want to say, even to today's date, there are certain positions that are frowned upon when you take it publicly in the U.S., right?
That's
certain
right.
The many protests.
So to say ceasefire in relation to the Gaza, you're a terrorist almost.
The world was watching, and with great concern when the U.S. got involved in this conflict over the weekend.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Do you think it's a possibility that this could reignite conflicts at an increased level across the Middle East?
It could, yeah. I mean, there's that possibility, of course.
How would that look based on history?
It would be terrible for the people, especially there in West Asia, but for the world as well. I mean, for the economies of the world, So that any retaliation by Iran, for example, they were talking about closing the Straits of Hormuz and so on.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think Iran would do that very easily or very willingly, because it realizes the impact that would have
on them, right?
on them, yeah, but on the world and on the United States. I mean, it would be crippling. And of course, the United States would have to respond the only way it knows how, which is militarily, right?
Yeah.
So they don't want that.
And that's what I initially thought would.
Yeah,
I mean, when you consider the possible outcomes, you could think of
that
a
was
more
a big fear, yeah.
passive approach and a more aggressive approach, where there are, firing of missiles across real world war taking place. But I think we also have to consider that there are other ways economically that world war could also take place, and that not only impacts the United States, but other regions as well.
Everybody.
Belize included.
Absolutely.
So talk about that then. What do you understand to be the economic influence that this part of the world, or the economic hold that this part of the world, that is, has on the entire world, the entire globe? What fuels that? Perhaps no pun intended, because is it oil?
Right. Well, it is to a large extent. I mean, that is the thing that up to now, everything depends on virtually. I mean, although we know it's so destructive and it could lead to the end of the world, really.
Yes.
We insist on depending on that more than anything else, and therefore it has that power hold, right? But I come back to where we started, that all of this has to do with the reordering of the world in terms of colonialism and decolonization. If you step back a little bit more, right, and find that since the 16th century or so, there has been a move of globalization and a move of domination of the world, of, if you like it, the North or the South, if you like it, the whites against the non-whites, whatever. And that has held up to now. From then, Europe and the spawns of Europe. I mean, because United States is what? I mean, United States is English people, most is going there and then creating that whole transatlantic slave thing. Another genocide that the United Kingdom is responsible for, that the United States is responsible for, the slavery. That was a genocide,
So was the people of Israel, and there seems to be a soft spot for the anti-Semitic situation there. And it's so interesting, Mr. Shoman, because it's something I've been thinking about, but I haven't found a way to express it as a possibility of where that soft spot could be for Israel as well, when we think of United States and the way that racism has shown itself, where when we look at blacks and slavery and how that took place, and when we look at the genocide that took place with the people of Israel, there still seems to be a separation of the two, where it almost seems like people are more empathetic to what took place took place with the people in Israel versus to the people.
What's that? What you're talking about, the people in Israel? Which genocide?
In Gaza, or whites and blacks in general, there seems to be a soft spot for these people versus
the Jewish people. You mean
the Jewish people?
Because of what you're saying? Because of the Holocaust?
The Holocaust, racism. I'm looking at it all. When I think of what is taking place right now with Israel and the alliance we've been speaking of, the power that the United States has and the possible interest that is involved. But when we were taking it back all the way to decolonization and slavery, can there be a connection with just the soft spot that the United States could potentially have for color even?
That is something you and I have to sit down over a cup of coffee and talk, because it's very profound. I don't quite understand what you're saying. But what I think maybe comes close to what you're talking about. Let's look at the Holocaust. What happened there, right? What happened there was that you had a regime in Germany. You had a German state carrying out So it wasn't an individual. It wasn't one or two people. It was the state of Germany carrying out mass murder of Jewish people, right? Some say up to 6 million people, maybe more, right? What was that all about? What was that? That was racism, right? Racism. And many people have done studies. Where did the leaders of this German state, where did they look for examples of how to treat the Jews first, how to segregate them and so on, housing, whatever? They looked to the United States of America, to what they now call the Jim Crow laws, the anti-black laws that dominated the United States of America right into the 60s. Laws, I'm talking about not just actions, written as laws, right? And they look to that as examples of, so that's why I want to bring us back to the root of all this. A lot of it has to do with colonialism and racism.
That's
what
where
you're
I
saying,
was.
What
That's
you're
where I
saying
was.
is that, but based on my understanding just from the entire conversation, it's about people and power, right?
Yes.
And people wanting power and powers shifting and people and I mean nations finding ways to gain control of that power.
Of their own destiny, right?
Right, whether momentarily by way of firing missiles or long term by way of creating forces and armies and resources that are permanent and mainstay to say, hey, we got this.
Right.
So but it's about people and power at the end of the day. I think that's a good title for a book. So but my question,
you write it, yeah.
My
With help
question
from
here,
my friend.
my question here is that Belizeans, we spend a lot of time looking at the US media for information, and we can agree that in some cases some of these reports, a lot of them are biased to either one side or the other. My question to you is, why should we as Belizeans care or be interested in what's happening between Iran, Israel, Palestine, and now US coming into this conversation? Why should we care? Or be
We should
interested?
care because our very existence depends on certain rules being established and applied in the world, and on certain principles being upheld. Brings me back to the question of colonialism and decolonization. And the development since the Second World War, and especially culminating in the 1960s, of the concept of self-determination, that people have a right to define their own destiny. The principle of self-determination, which is the only thing that got us independence. We had to fight for that independence diplomatically, politically, at the United Nations and around the world, based on that principle alone, right? And that is the principle that is at stake in this whole war with Iran, with the Middle East, with the West Asia, with Palestine, right? That the people of Palestine are not being allowed to exercise their self-determination, their right to self-determination. We have to support that because we depend on that. Our very existence depends on that. And the history tells us that history doesn't repeat itself, but we need to learn from it, and aspects of it happen again and again, right? So the idea that a neighbor can use force to take your territory, that the neighbor can decide to move the people out of that territory and take it for itself, that isn't alien to us, that's very close to us. And that's what's happening in Palestine. There was, as I repeat, there was a country and Europeans, white people come and drive them off the land by murder and mass displacement and so on. Millions have been, and now they want to take away. It was 2.3 million, it's probably 2 million now, because it's 50,000, 55,000 killed. Everybody knows that's a joke. Everybody knows it's much higher than that. Most studies put it at between 200,000 and 300,000 people, right? And the objective is, it's not just a guess, they say it, that the objective is to get everybody out, to clean the land of that. That's not alien to us. That could happen to us.
So I gather that in
So
your,
the principles have to be held on to.
so I gather that in your view, Iran is well placed and well within its right to launch attacks against Israel for the sake of defending its sovereignty and that of its people.
Can I, this is law, you're talking law now. So when I talk law, you have to be exact, right? So I brought a little, a very short thing.
Sure.
The law, the United Nations Charter, right? Article 2, sub 4. All members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. That's the charter. That's what it says. We all belong to, even Israel belongs to the United Nations and must respect the charter, though it doesn't belong to the Non-Proliferation Treaty. We haven't talked about that yet. We don't have time, probably. But that's the prohibition against aggression, right, and force. And then Article 51, because we've heard a lot from the beginning, Israel has a right to defend itself. It goes and murders children, and Israel has a right to defend itself. It becomes nauseating. And not only that, the leaders of Western countries, of these same colonial, the countries that colonized the world, the white crowd, they are saying, oh, right to defend. But even the media, the entire media almost is saying that, right? What is the truth about the right of self-defense? It's in the UN Charter. It says, Article 51, nothing in the present charter shall impair the inherent right of individual or collective self-defense if an armed attack occurs against a member of the United Nations until the Security Council has taken the measures necessary to maintain international peace and security. I believe that's the only time in the whole UN Charter that the word self-defense is used. But there's what the law is. If an armed attack occurs,
Then
it
what?
tells you, I mean, who is legal and who is illegal. So Iran was attacked, an unprovoked attack. Unprovoked even to the extent of being within negotiations. Negotiations are going on and you attack that country. Yeah. You know, so that so-called self-defense is just a cover that they use, the Israelis use, the Zionist entity uses, but disturbingly, Western, so-called Western political leaders use, and worst of all, the media in the world, is the massive media. But of course, you know that this media is owned and controlled by a very few billionaires.
Yesterday, President Trump announced a ceasefire and the possibilities of a ceasefire. But since then, as Sabrina alluded to earlier, both Iran and Israel have fired off missiles. Do you believe this is sort of us approaching the end of this conflict between Israel and Iran, and what does this mean for the people of Palestine?
Well, I hope, and we all hope, I think, because the opposite is so disastrous for the world, right? We all hope that this thing will hold, that this ceasefire will hold, right? We're hoping that. But that's not the end. I mean, the real cause of the problem is this colony right there in the middle of taking over the land of a people, right? Until that is solved, there will never be peace.
What's the solution there?
The solution is stop the colonization. So stop the occupation, right, of Palestine, stop the apartheid laws, right? Dismantle all the laws and all the systems that enforce that racist occupation, right? And have a nation, Palestine, from the river to the sea, that is free, democratic, independent.
You know,
Jew, Arab, no difference. Everybody the same. Because what we have now is an ethno-nationalist, which is a racist state.
Yeah.
Saying only people of a certain so-called race. We don't know, I mean, you know, race is just a construct, right? A social construct. But they use that to differentiate people, the racialization of the world, right? That has happened since
It
all
almost
this
feels far-reaching, though, Mr. Shoman, because every time or everything you hear on the media mentions nothing of that.
I know, but it's happening. It will happen. I have the faith that it will happen. It won't happen in my lifetime, but maybe in yours. Huh? You're a young
That's the
woman.
hope.
It'll happen in your lifetime, I think. And then maybe you call me and tell me yes.
Okay. What can we do? People here in Belize, trying to educate ourselves on what is taking place, consuming all the different information that is being put out, trying to piece together what is truth from fallacy. What can we do?
It's not easy. It's not easy. How do the mass of people in Belize get an alternative view? Back in the day, I don't know if it still happens, okay? I'm not here, and I don't know, but the creme evening thing, afterwards they play Democracy Now! Do they still do that?
I don't know.
We remember that, you know, they did it once.
Yeah.
That's an excellent source of information, right? A thing called Democracy Now! That's based in New York, I think, in the United States of America. That's a very, very good one. But I know most people now are
online.
They're
reading.
So there are very good podcasts. There are very good people that you can
sources
follow
that you can
and
gather
listen.
information.
Yeah, but they need guidance. So somebody like you, and yourself, I think it would be useful if you started giving hints to people of certain podcasts that they could learn things from, right? You might not do it online, but you could do it in your own media thing and so on, and try and find ways to get people to open their eyes. That's what you're supposed to be here about, you know, and really open their eyes by first of all realizing that you're being fed a bunch of lies.
What concerns you
by
most
the main
about
media.
this recent escalation?
You went like that because it's relief. Relief is what I feel, right? That it didn't explode. It didn't go further than it did. And the hope that will hold. But the realization that there will never be peace until the colonial situation is resolved, until there is real decolonization. Just like in any of our countries, in Africa, in Asia, there would never have been peace. Don't forget that the great British Empire that some people are so proud to be a part of, you know, so when our people are given the OBE, Officer of the British Empire, up to today, they feel nice, they feel proud, and everybody clap for them, you know. Don't forget that they are mass murderers too, you know. How many millions did they kill? British colonialism and English colonialism. First of all, in Ireland, that's where they started, and they practice everything, including what Israel is doing now, you know, the starvation thing. They did that in Ireland. They killed, I think, around 1 million people.
There are dark histories all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Still
then what
taking
they've done in
place.
India, in Africa, everywhere. And it's still taking place, exactly. And then you have a country like Burkina Faso now trying to stand up, right? We all look to and admire and hope for the best there. You have hero countries like the Houthis, the only country that has really stood up for international law in a practical way.
Excellent.
International law.
Oh, Mr. Shoman, we are out of time.
Okay.
Yes, but this has been an enlightening conversation.
Yeah, always.
And so we always want to thank you for joining us on set to bring these perspectives on these hot button issues. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank
sir.
you too. Thank
All
you.
right.
And good luck.
At this time, we take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, the conversation switches into unlocking young minds with STEAM this summer.
Are you on your phone right now, scrolling on social media, listening to the radio, or watching TV? Have you ever stopped to think, what's powering my device right now? You see, electricity is essential for everyday life, powering our homes, businesses, transportation, and of course, that one binge-worthy series that you just can't stop watching. But how does it all work? This season on the What's and Why's of Energy, we're taking you behind the scenes, bringing you the latest updates and answers to your biggest energy questions. My name is Emmanuel Petch, and I invite you to join us as we go live on Facebook and get ready to see energy in a whole new light. Like, share, and follow us to be part of the conversation.
Belize Electricity Limited, providing you safe and reliable power when you need it.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Corozal, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. This is our second conversation for this morning, and it's all about the educational scientific solutions, or education ESSquare.
Squares.
Right.
Not too
nice. And we're joined on set by director of that organization, Mr. Orlando Medina, as well as an assistant/instructor, Natalie Konorki. I'm sure I can pronounce that wrong. And last but not least, Mr. Jamir Alaya, who's also who's an instructor in this case, and they're all from this organization. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I remember you guys were here last year.
Yeah, we were here last year. We were promoting, well, the first time we went really big with our camp. I've been doing it for the past, this will be the fourth time. But the first two times were kind of small, on a smaller scale.
Just let's establish the name of the organization. Let's start there.
It's Educational Scientific Solutions, which is something I started when I moved away from being a career teacher to doing my own thing, referred to as ESSquare.
Yes,
because I'm a math person too.
Okay, there you go. So what is ESSquare?
It's an organization, or is something that I started to promote science education. You know, I've been a career science teacher, mathematics and science teacher. So when I moved away from that full time, I put all my knowledge and skills, what I learned throughout the years, into, my passion. So I left a job to pursue a passion, which is science education.
And still very much connected to what your career was at the time.
Yes, and
I want to ask how it has grown since the first year. You mentioned this is the fourth, and last year was exceptionally large when we saw the interest in students finding summer programs to take part in, particularly associated with STEAM. How has it grown since then? Yeah,
the first year when we did it, we had only a small audience of students. The idea was to get them involved with science education, where we incorporate the mathematics, the importance of the connection with mathematics. Of course, that evolved into what is branded as STEAM.
Yeah.
What is STEAM really is, it's a form of education where we use the model of what we call design thinking as part of it, right? The design thinking is the engineering aspect of it. But to do that, we need to know science, we need to know math. We have to incorporate creativity where the art comes in, and it's all done to improve technology. See, we use technology every day. The idea is for us to understand it so that we can improve it, and then perhaps move on to designing new technologies. Yeah. That's the thing. Well, it's important for our children to start with that level of thinking from an early age. And so that's the key purpose behind.
For most of us, we begin and we end at the using stage where technology is concerned.
Exactly.
We use it, and that's all we do for the rest of our lives.
So it goes on to trying to understand it and then to look at how we can improve it.
So what's the age range here? I gather it's children.
Yeah, it's children. So I have worked with, it's 8 to 12. Okay. So this is my opportunity to work with smaller kids, which I had the opportunity when I had an experience working at the Ministry of Education. But my career has spanned all levels.
Yeah. Well, it's no wonder why these remind me of things I would make as a child. But I'm sure they're functional. They have a purpose. Yeah. Maybe Natalie could jump in the conversation. Just tell us a bit about your experience with this organization.
All right, so last summer we had the same STEAM program. It was a low turn, well, not that much of a high turnout. We had about 45 students, if I'm correct. Yeah.
It's not high, just 45.
Not as much as compared to how much we want this year.
Okay.
So yeah, this year we want about 80 students. That's the max. Last year we had like 45 students. What I noticed from last year's program, the students were very engaged. They brought different ideas to the table, and some of them ended up like portraying these ideas and helping their friends to think like how they do. They brought out things that we didn't think that they could brought out. So like just having them come to the program, it's like really bringing out stuff that they didn't even know that they had in them as well.
How do you go about making science and maths fun and engaging? Because well, just in high school and even primary school, I'm thinking, science again, or maths, man, this just be a boring class.
That's because you were destined for English.
Either talk through it or sleep through it. Either one.
You make it interactive.
Yeah, you make it interactive. Like when people hear science, most of the time they're like, But what we try to do, we try to do hands-on activities like projects. Little kids like from 8 to 12, they love creating projects, putting their ideas. Like these were one of the models we made last year. It's supposed to be a balloon car. They blow into it and it's supposed to move, and it's something very competitive for the students as well. 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, they like to be very competitive, like who will win, I will come in first. So this is something that they might see as just fun, but to us they're actually thinking, and they're like, oh, this is why my car isn't working, maybe because I need a different wheel, maybe because I need this or that. So it really allows them to think.
So you guys are hoping for roughly around 80 or so students this year.
At max, yeah.
What's the nature of how the summer program is set up? Do you go in and you learn everything, or do you get to choose what you'd like to focus on?
Okay, so for this summer program, what we want to do, we want to expose the children to a little bit of everything. Okay. So as, let's say John goes in, John will get an experience with science, technology, expressive arts, math. He'll get an exposure to all of those. It's not just, oh, I want John to do math and science. John will get an exposure to all of those different subjects.
I have to ask both of you guys, because you look young, and you guys are instructors as well in the summer program. Where did your interest in being a part of this come from?
Go ahead.
Let's go, Jamir.
Thank you. So I would venture to say, well, this is my first year in the program, because I know Mr. Medina, he taught me. Excellent teacher, yeah. And yeah, so my part in this, before I get into that, let me tell you about my expertise and what I do. I do martial arts. They also Shotokan. I've been there for 8 years, and I've been working with kids, and I love working with kids. You know, it's a very fun experience for me. You know, and I always want to give them some sort of knowledge and assist them in some sort of way. So my part in this would be to assist on Fridays, fun day. You know, so they could get away from everything. You know, so I'll be basically teaching them physical fitness and a little bit of self-defense. And after each class, I'll be giving them a motivational speech. See where their mindset is at. You know?
Fantastic.
Yeah, and again, I've been doing it for 8 years, and I love it, and it's a way of life for me now. So
well, that's an incredible component.
Yeah, these are. We have a sample because we have our art instructor too, Ms. Shahira Young. She's our art instructor. As Natalie said, we try to have the students do, well, they're going to do a little bit of everything. We have it structured so that we change it a little bit from last year as you learn as you go along. Yeah. So they're doing rotations Monday and Wednesday. We have groups that are going to be switching between math and science and art and technology. And then, you know, Tuesday, Thursdays, we have the other group switch up. So they'll be doing the Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday type of slots there. So yes, they get to do everything.
Now, how many instructors do you have roughly?
We have in our staff is about six, seven, because we have the other two other ladies that are joining us, Ms. Serena Reyes, Shahira Young, Natalie, and then we have 4 gentlemen. Yeah, so seven.
Where did your interest come from?
Well, in high school, I was a science student. I've always naturally had a passion for science, so I know like the importance of incorporating these hands-on activities. Then moving on to junior college, I majored in biology, and now I'm actually a pharmacy student myself. So I've always had that passion, that growing passion for science. So I know the need of these hands-on activities. So. Yeah.
What has your academic journey taught you about the importance of science?
Well, science, we need it in all aspects, and not only science, we need those other subjects as well. Like we need the arts, we need the math, so we need to have a better understanding of all of these in order to grasp the concept of science.
And to be a well-rounded student as well, right? Yep. So the program, when does it begin? Where are you hosting it?
Yeah, we're hosting it right at EPR again. Excellent compound, you know, security is there, you know, it's closed, and so it's an ideal location. It runs from July the 7th to August the 1st, 4 weeks. So like Jamir said, Monday to Thursday, we do the classes and Friday is like where they get to do sports and activities like karate.
So it's an entire month of activities.
And it's in the first half of the day, so 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 hours.
Yeah.
As again, we don't want them to feel like they're at school, you know.
Yeah.
A little bit of fun.
I think that's important. Because it's summer.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want them to.
So the real planning comes into when we're infusing these concepts, you know, mathematics and science. Yeah. But the real fun as an educator comes in when you listen to the conversations they have when they're designing these things, and you know, I think we should do this, or I think we should do that, or it should be wider, or you know, and you know, the idea is, again, that's what we're trying to promote, and that's the engineering aspect of it, you know, design thinking. They look at it and they design, there's some flaw in the structure, it didn't work well, so I'll go back and I'll say, you know what, let me do this, let me make this shorter or longer, or whatever.
What was the challenge here, or what was the task with these?
The task was the first one was to design a car
that makes sense.
that will be powered by the balloon. And so what
you gave them a blueprint, like
what to do? Yeah, like a little, you know, idea as to how to do it. You don't want to go too much, guys. You want them to bring out the creativity.
How about that one?
Yeah, this one was a rocket.
And
Yes, it kind of lost some of its components then from last year to this year, but it had its wings and then it had a cone. Yeah. But even some of them might tell you know what, they want to try it without the cone and see how it works, and then they do the cone, and then so on, they try to make the cone longer. All kind of things that some of them decided that this was too short, they made this too short, this part here, and so when we put the fuel is baking soda and vinegar, which is a chemistry aspect. Yeah. So you notice it's a little bit, that really, for me, is what it's about. Yeah. You see, you have the science involved, then they're thinking about the length and so forth, and the size of the wings, you know, should it be triangular or whatever, the shape, the mathematics. You know, and then the technology aspect of designing it so that it's more aerodynamic.
Jameer, let me just ask for you, why do you think it's important to have this physical, mental balance in your life as a young person?
Because, again, when you're conditioning in the man, it's not only academically and spiritually and emotionally, it's also physically. And your physical aspect plays a tremendous role on your mental health. So I do want to, and again, it's just one day, I do want them to have an exposure of how it feels to like put in physical work, because it also connects with your man. You know, your man and body is one. You know, they work together. So I would venture to say it's a must. It's a must, and again, it's gonna be fun. It's not gonna be all hard work. You know, we're gonna
have 50 push-ups.
Only 25.
Maybe.
But for me, the components always have to be there, and as you go along, we improve. You know, the physical for the physical aspect goes along with it, but also the aspect of the kids communicating, developing critical thinking. You know,
how are you able
collaboration.
To identify when a child is learning?
We, there's ways to assess without the formal ways. Yeah, like, you know, you simple questions, you just ask, you know, you ask them, what do you think?
Yeah.
That's assessment right there. When you know, how can you improve people education? That's how we design questions, but then it can be done right there when they're in the process of doing their design.
Yeah, and I believe they still have like 2 weeks to apply, right?
Yes.
So yes, let's get there. Thank you, Jameer. You should take over this interview and ask the question. How do you go about applying, and how much time do we have left before?
Also the fee. We did see it on the flyer, but
the fee is $250 for the for the 4 weeks there. It, like I said, it encompasses a little bit of everything. That's the main thing with our camp, you know, it's just focusing on one thing. And the child gets a chance, the way how it's structured, for them to do everything, right? So they get to experience. For me, that's why I call it the experience, you know, science experience, or we may use the word explosion. But and so they get to register. Really, it's simple. You on the form there on the flyer, you have a QR code. You scan that QR code, takes you to a Google form where we get the information, your contact information. Scan that, takes you right to a Google form, and then you fill in information and make the payment. And everything is done right there, and we get the record of the information and all of that.
Yeah. Then also to add, if you don't have a child or anything, you could also support for one.
Sponsor a child.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So for our viewers, those interested, that's the QR code right there. You could actually take out your phone right now if you're watching, and you could scan that QR code.
That's our little crew from last year.
Yeah, there you go. And you'll get the Google form where you could register your child for what appears to be a very excellent
And it says if you register early, you also get the $10 waived.
The early was last, I think Saturday was the last.
Okay.
But you could always, you know.
Where can we find you for more information?
We are.
But Facebook, you can follow us on our Facebook page, STEAM Summer Explosion 2.0. As the assistant, I'll be posting videos, pictures, so that not only the parents are updated on what their kids are doing, but the wider community as well. So,
all right, fantastic. Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. It's a pleasure having you guys back, and we hope you get to get a lot of kids this summer as well. Sounds fun.
Thanks.
All right. We take another quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we have loads of more insightful conversation to look forward to.
planeando un viaje a Belice? Aquí te mostramos cómo completar tu formulario de llegada y declarar en 5 sencillos pasos. Paso 1. Visita belizetravel.immigration.gov.bz. Paso 2. Selecciona el formulario adecuado para llegadas y elige llegando a Belice. Paso 3. Proporciona los detalles de tu viaje de origen, incluyendo el aeropuerto de salida y tu país de residencia. Paso 4. Completa cuidadosamente el formulario de inmigración, agrega dependientes si es necesario, declara equipaje, moneda y mercancías y confirma que tus datos sean correctos. Paso 5. Descarga tu formulario completado y toma una captura de pantalla de tu código QR y del número de identificación para presentarlo al oficial de inmigración. Gracias por usar Belize iTravel. ¡Feliz viaje!
Let's all be safe during the rainy season. Belize Electricity Limited reminds you that heavy rains can cause flooding in your neighborhood and on roads. Avoid driving or walking in flooded areas, which can have hidden dangers such as debris and fallen power lines. Belize Electricity Limited cares about your safety. Please stay safe.
My name is Leomar Langzert and I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer. With these online that Belize Bank offered is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. This is our one-on-one conversation this morning, and it's all about Carlos Habet and the Belize, as he's the Belize Film Commissioner and BFX Director. What's BFX?
Yes. So it's Belize Film Exchange.
Belize Film Exchange Director. Mr. Habet, thank you so much for joining us on set.
Thank you for having me. It's really always great to be here on Channel 5 and I have a lot to share with you guys. So
let's get right into it because we don't have a lot of time, but we have enough to get to the salient points. But I just want to first of all commend you for being persistent in this industry. I've seen how much you've worked and invested, and you have this stick-to-itiveness, if you would. Where's this passion come from?
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. And I think that to an extent, yes, you're right that to stay in this industry, you have to have this passion. Where does it come from? That's a good question. I'd imagine the same place it comes from in you and your team here. But I think from a very young age, you know, I just loved movies. I loved that movies could touch people, and not just that, but I think movies could make people feel connected to each other, right? And it's a form of storytelling, and quite possibly, you know, one of the more detailed and sort of like emotive types of storytelling. And I think too, as Belizeans, and you might agree with me, everyone's a storyteller. You know, you walk down the street, people are telling stories. You know, you go to someone's house, they have a story for you, you have a story for them. So I think we're natural storytellers too, Belizeans. And I think for me, I'm just trying to get this medium over to our storytellers and get them to excel at this medium so that we could tell stories now on film, visually, and not just for ourselves, but for the world.
Is there a movie or a series you can look back to that perhaps was an initial impact on your life?
That's a good question. I think sort of like growing up in like the 90s, it was also like a very strange time for film, and so I would stay up pretty late and watch movies that are, I would say, just strange. There weren't those kind of movies, but they were just experimental and very, very dark type movies. And so for me, it was just kind of like what's this guy's name? Spader, for instance. I think Kevin Spader was his name. He had like a run, which of just, they were just adult. They were too much for me, and I just think that I was like, what's going on? And then I realized that like you could do so many different things. Wow. So those were probably too adult for me, but again, not the adult you're thinking about.
No. We all, it just shows that we all came from different spheres of life with different influences, but here it has brought us together in one room. Now, you all, it's the Belize Film Exchange that's hosting an intensive, correct?
Yeah, so well, the intensive is called the Film Exchange.
Oh, that's what the intensive is called. Okay, tell me about that.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So it's the Film Commission, we're putting it on, but we have like immense support from Niche, really. So they're like the prime sponsor, they're making all this happen. Ministry of Education also is helping us, they're hosting it at the IT Vet for us, and they're also certifying it for us. So all these students, when they're done, they'll have a certificate either like in the one day that they've done, or if they want for the 5 days, which covers many topics ranging from, I think I mentioned to you earlier, screenwriting and directing was yesterday. Today, if you really want to get into the technical aspect, today is, and there's still time to go in, we take walk-ins. Today is cinematography, lighting, grip, and electrical.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's to me one of the more like core pieces that I think when people think about filmmaking, like that's what they're thinking about, right? Behind the camera.
Behind the cameras.
Right? So, and then tomorrow I think we have production design, like production sound, producing in Belize. They're gonna actually also talk about things like grants, like festivals, and like how you can be a producer essentially, budgeting. Thursday we're doing post-production and video effects, VFX. And then on Friday, we're wrapping it all up with sound and music and film.
Wow.
Yeah, and then at the end, we're having a mixer, actually, and it's not only limited to people who took the course, but it's just a networking mixer. So Friday at Spoona's Reggae Cafe, we're having from 6 to 8 a networking mixer where you can kind of go and meet the people who are like partaking. You know that I always say film is like a team sport, and so you need to find other people who have the same passion as you. And I think that's where you can find it. So
what's the end goal here with this Belize Film Exchange?
So I think on a basic level, we're just trying to raise the standard of excellence of our video industry. So there's two things, is that there's films that are coming in, you know, since I've taken over as film commissioner, we've seen an uptick in films coming in and series from abroad. And they need more people, right, that they could hire here in Belize rather than having to fly people in all the time. So, and these are the same kind of jobs that we're really training for this week. So we feel that this would allow for like, you know, a little more economic stimulation for entrepreneurs or freelancers, one. But two, there's also this idea that we want to just raise the level all around. So even people who are like in marketing departments, who are doing production, like even people like yourself, you might could send your people to get more training. And then just the level of video, even online, let's say in Belize, gets raised too. So there's also that.
What's your thoughts on the idea of us telling our own stories as Belizeans as well? You think we do enough of that? And is it that we are incapable or over capable of doing that?
Well, I think that, yes, is also another, like, I would say, benefit, direct benefit of kind of like learning these trades, really, that's what it is. We cannot tell those stories. And so that is also part of my mandate. So I like to sum it up like this. My mandate is to bring the world to Belize, to get them to make films here. But also, to me, I'm supposed to take Belize to the world, and so I'm supposed to take our films out there. Rightly so, we don't have that many films, but I think, like yesterday, for instance, there were people in this class that had full screenplays already.
Wow.
Right? And then what was great about the class, and I have a video that you guys will probably show at some point, they actually taught you not just how to write a screenplay, but how to sort of write stories that people resonate with, which I think that's the goal, right? Is to make things that people can connect with, as we spoke about earlier, and to kind of figure out, okay, well, what kind of story can I tell here, but that resonates with people in another country, another audience, you know?
I think it's so incredible that for you to point out that we actually have people here that have written screenplays that have, but at the same time, we seem to have, as Belizeans, this natural knack for storytelling. A lot of us grew up watching plays, watching skits, as we would call them. How much of that is similar to what we do in film and film production?
I think that the style is different, but I think the expression is there, and you raise a good point. I think Belizeans are sort of used to a type of like overacting,
Yeah.
which is very theatrical in nature, right? And that comes from our roots, which is funny. But I think with film, it's a more subtle type of art when it comes to like the directing and the acting. And not to say that doesn't have a place, but I think when you're talking about film, you're talking about a sort of more rooted, grounded, realistic type portrayal in a lot of senses. So I think it's opening up like another avenue for a different kind of storytelling as well. But I think that there's still that place, and I mean, I think that is still uniquely Belizean. And so I would actually want to see too what films look like with that style as well.
Is it is one day intensive on cinematics and lighting, like what is being taught today, enough?
Well, not necessarily, because I mean, for me, like I'm still learning. I'm always learning, and I think you can never stop learning in a sense. I think what it is more than anything else is a great introduction from a professional who works in the industry in the US, and they understand how things fit together, not just on set, though people fit together, right? And so I think for me, it's about laying the groundwork and letting people understand, okay, you know, this is how things work. I'll give you this briefer, and now you can kind of take it. And again, this passion you're talking about, you take your passion and you continue developing. And the truth is that there's so many things out there that you could go online and really find, and it's reliable. So I think for me, more than anything else, this was like a proof that, you know, when people see someone doing something, they think, oh, I can do it too.
Yeah.
I think this is the idea. And so we bring real people, you know, and some of them are Belizean Americans too. Some of them are just Americans. We have someone from, I think, Colombia. And so we have other Belizeans too. There's Belizeans that are teaching, like Alex Evans, for instance, on Friday with the post sound, you know, music in film. You know, it's just a wide range of people to say, hey, listen, I can kind of be a professional in this industry from a lot of different like perspectives. And it's possible. And then maybe someone says, hey, I want to do, you know, music and film, or I want to do grip and lighting, you know, maybe I want to do script writing, I want to be an actor, which actually that's going to be our next intensive. We focus on acting.
I'm sure you'll get a lot of interest in that.
I hope so, yeah, because I think
we have a bunch of actors.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
totally.
So finally, just for the sake of time, there's still room available for people interested and wanting to sign up?
Yes, today is actually the most packed day. We're almost at capacity today.
Sheesh.
But I'm willing to take overflow. So I would say you could still walk in today, yes. And then remember, there's still tomorrow, there's still Thursday and Friday, and then the week-long pass is actually a big discount over, because it's $75 per day. You could buy it on the niche website, or at this point you can walk in and we just give you a little receipt and whatnot, and you can take part, or you can still get from like today to Friday at a discount too. So there's that. So if to me, for someone that's serious about film, there are a fair amount of people taking every single day, and I think there's still a place for that. But if you want to say, okay, I just really want to learn how to like be on set and, like you said, cinematography, grip lighting, today is the day. It's not too late. I mean, you can kind of come in like now, basically. You know.
What time does it start?
8 to 5. It is pretty intensive, because I can tell you yesterday, started a bit late because of opening ceremonies, and they went a little bit later too. So you really get your money's worth, guys. I can tell you, like, the classes, they're very engaging. The teachers are great. The students are also, like, from what I can tell, really excellent, and they come prepared. And it's a community already that's building, which I love.
And where?
ITVET.
ITVET.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Mr. Habe, keep on doing the great work. Building this industry is something we desperately need, and that I'm certain of. And I'm looking forward to not only bringing films to Belize, but taking Belize to the world. And I think you have the perfect mandate there, and you have the vision and the passion to do that. So congratulations to you.
Paul, thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate it. And thanks Channel 5 for having me. And congrats on the rebrand as well. I love it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, so with that, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we have more Open Your Eyes. We have two more segments. We have Ma Baker and Chef, and we also have Miss Universe, all the Miss Universe delegates. So 2 excellent conversations coming up. You don't want to miss these. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's near you and get 19 to 25% off selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, Charbroil barbecue grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, 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 oh.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Carazal, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
My name is Carlton Flowers, and I'm the owner of Back to My Roots Art from the Heart. And in this store I produce a lot of handmade ornaments. Before I had access, it was a big problem because the tourist doesn't carry as much cash. We needed to have the machine to make the business a success. Dealing with the machine, I don't have to take time out from the store to go and, or send people to go to the bank. I would recommend Belize Bank Digital Service because it has done a lot for me personally. It has done a lot for my business. It helps me with paying my bills online, and I really appreciate that the staff took time out and teach me what I needed to get done. So I'm very happy that now I can do it confidently on my own.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Carazal, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
My name is Christian Palma. I'm the owner of CRK Services, and I've been operating this business for 7 years in Big Falls, Toledo District. I use the Belize Bank online services because it's quite fast, reliable, and easy. Before I started to use the Belize Bank online services, I had to make a lot of trips into town, which cost me a lot, especially fuel. So the fact that I have to use my credit card every day, I can do an online instant payment and make my life easy. My customers can do payments towards me and it reaches in instant. It's fast, it's convenient for my business. I don't have to be up and down. I can do it anywhere I want. I would recommend you using the Belize Bank online services because for you, it will save you a lot of time.
Hi there. Are you on your phone right now, scrolling on social media, listening to the radio, or watching TV? Have you ever stopped to think, what's powering my device right now? You see, electricity is essential for everyday life, powering our homes, businesses, transportation, and of course, that one binge-worthy series that you just can't stop watching. But how does it all work? This season on the What's and Whys of Energy, we're taking you behind the scenes, bringing you the latest updates and answers to your biggest energy questions. My name is Emmanuel Petch, and I invite you to join us as we go live on Facebook and get ready to see energy in a whole new light. Like, share, and follow us to be part of the conversation.
Belize Electricity Limited, providing you safe and reliable power when you need it.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Caraza, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
So much for staying tuned. We are joined clearly by some beautiful ladies this morning, and the one beast in the room, all the beauties, right? This is the Miss Universe delegates, of course, and I have joining me over on this set, Miss Destiny Arnold, who is the National Director of Miss Universe Belize. Miss Arnold, good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure having you on set with us, and thank you for bringing all these ladies as well. This is Pageant Week, right?
Yes, it is Pageant Week, a very exciting time for the country because we get to see our ladies live in action of who's going to become the Miss Universe Belize 2025.
Talk a bit about what this serving in this capacity has meant for you.
It has been an absolute honor. It's quite the challenge. It's a role that I wasn't planning on stepping in, but I was just actually speaking with the girls on the way here that I felt obligated to because I was a past Miss Universe Belize in 2019, and I understood how important it is to have the right leader take on the franchise, and I believe that I fit that criteria, and I have a passion for making sure that we elevate pageantry within Belize so that we're ready for that international stage. We become that powerhouse country, and being a leader that can be entrusted with such a role is something that I take pride in.
What do you mean when you speak about elevating pageantry and the philosophy behind this organization that you now lead?
It's no secret that Belize is small, but it is mighty. And it is our duty to make sure that we reflect that on the international stage. So in doing that, we have to elevate ourselves in every capacity, meaning that our girls need to know each point that they need to match, such as their speaking ability, their advocacy, their personability. They're an all-inclusive, transformative leader.
Talk about community impact and where does that, how much importance is that for this organization, not only looking at the girls and what they bring to the table in and of themselves, but what they bring to their communities and what this organization brings to the communities around us in terms of impact?
Yes, we definitely not just talk the talk, we walk the walk. We spearheaded Advocacy Month, and if you have been following the ladies' journey, you will be able to see everyone's different advocacies. You're seeing how they are transformative leaders within their communities. They, in the month of May, every week made a series of posts showing the country what they are doing within their communities. I will allow them to kind of expand on what they're doing, but it's amazing work, and it's not going to just stop on Saturday. They know that they need to continue this even after vying for the crown or becoming Miss Universe Belize.
Now, before we throw it over to them, finally, as you alluded to, the event is on Saturday.
Yes, it is.
So I want you to just give us a bit of the details about location, tickets, because we want people to come out and show their support.
Yes, we want that crowd. We want that crowd.
We need that crowd.
We need that crowd. The girls are depending on those cheers. So yes, it is on Saturday. The doors open at 6:30 p.m. You can purchase your tickets at any Cellular World location or at the City Center. Once doors open, or even I believe the morning of, you will be able to go to the ticket booths at the City Center to purchase your tickets. Our Ultra VIP tables are completely sold out, so you know that this pageant is in high demand. But we have our very basic general admission tickets available at $10. I made sure that we priced it so anyone can come, very affordable. Yeah. We really want the public there, and we also have our VIP tickets and our reserve tickets available as well. But do not wait until the last minute, because as you can see, we're already selling out. So we are ready for you. Come out.
Excellent. Destiny, thank you so much. We're going to throw it over now to Sabrina and the ladies on set.
All right, Paul, thank you so much. And Destiny, you're looking absolutely beautiful. This morning, I'm also joined by all of the delegates. What I have to say is I've been really enjoying the one-on-one sit-down that we were able to share with you guys for the past few weeks. The only person I was not able to sit down and chat with is Isabella Zabane. So it's good to be here with you this morning.
Nice to see you.
But just to give you guys an idea of who we have here with us, joining my immediate left is Miss Universe Belize 2024, Halima Hoy. Also with her is Isabella Zabane. We also have Monisha Hyde, Imani Jex, Libni Rodriguez, and on the far end, Hope Panton.
Hello.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Looking so beautiful in all the colors. Really brightening up our set this morning.
We're a colorful bunch.
Yeah, you got in personality as well.
Yeah.
So it's pageant week, and I've been kind of, alluding to it that this is the most exciting week of the entire pageant, I think personally, because it's really where the race begins. Every minute counts. And I also heard you say that, Halima, in an interview yesterday, or perhaps it was Destiny, where it was said that all of you ladies really stand a chance to win this competition, and so it really boils down to the small points. I want you to expand on that, Halima, because you've been in their shoes before. You know exactly what this feeling is like. You know how important it is to perfect every moment in this week. What can these ladies expect this week?
Well, they just gotta be disciplined, because we have early starts and late finishes. We also judge everything. Everything is judge your character, the way you behave, because we're looking for someone that we can work with long term and that our sponsors can work with, and someone who will excel at Miss Universe. So we are expecting them to meet that challenge with grace, of course, and confidence, and to see how they interact with each other and interact with everybody that they meet. So there's a lot of things that goes into consideration, but I'm pretty sure these girls got it.
Yeah. When you say everything is judged. Do we essentially mean that the competition begins even before pageant night, which is Saturday?
Yes, there's a certain percentage of the score that goes in before then, and the ladies are briefed on it, so they're aware. But of course, we really want that person who takes it seriously and knows that this is a full-time job.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would know because you've been there.
It is, yes.
Talk about what your reign has been like. It's been so beautiful to watch and follow your journey. You've been really able to set the bar higher. We've seen, I mean, I was there on the night you were crowned.
Yes.
And then, of course, now we are watching and waiting for the final walk. What has your year been like?
It's transformative. That's the one word that sums it up. Like I said before, building relationships with people from different sectors of Belize, and also being more confident and strong with my advocacy, which is bringing awareness to health and fitness across Belize, being able to expand across the entire country and not just locally, in the city. So I've said everything that I set out to achieve, I was able to do so with the help of my organization and our sponsors. And I'm looking forward to seeing what these girls can bring to that. You know, they all have different talents to build upon what I've created, because this is a legacy. It's not like we start all over again. We just keep building and making, like Destiny saying, elevating pageantry in Belize. So I had that in mind when I began. I knew the assignment, I understood it, and I set out to achieve something great so that these girls can walk in big shoes, and so far they're very promising.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I won't ask you ladies about your advocacies because I feel that we've already highlighted that. What I want to ask about is what has been key moments in this journey so far. Yes, it's pageant week, but you guys had to prepare yourselves mentally way before. I imagine it has also been costly. So you can talk about, you know, getting these outfits together. I saw just yesterday, like their opening picture early in the morning, then like 2 or 3 hours later, a whole new outfit. Like, give us the real deets, guys. What has it been like being a Miss Universe Belize hopeful? Let's begin with you, Isabella.
I personally have loved the process and the journey so far. It is a lot of outfits. It definitely is a lot of tedious work into making sure that like the earrings match the shoes and that you're not off on any colors. Personally, having lighter skin, some colors don't look good on me and then others look great. Blues, I love a good blue. But all the little details that are behind the scenes like that definitely make a difference, and I've loved the process of being able to put my personality into clothing and be able to express myself that way.
I have to ask you, Isabella, because you made a post most recently about feeling fatigued and feeling in this part of the competition, I guess the weight of the journey. Can you expand on that? Because I think it's interesting to highlight the challenges more than the beauty that you'd see at face value. There are, I imagine, a lot of work involved in this, and yeah, it looks all shiny and glamorous, but what are the hard parts of it?
So I personally love the process and I love the person I've become in the process, but I definitely think that all of the girls can relate to me when I say this, but this is a long, hard journey, and even not even having the crown yet, it takes a lot of work, a lot of discipline, a lot of energy, and the early mornings and the late nights start way before pageant week do. And so I am exhausted, but I personally feel that it's a blessing that I'm this tired, because I get to pursue something and my exhaustion is going towards something that is absolutely what my heart desires. And so I'm tired, but it's worth it, and it's not in a way that feels draining, but more so very encouraging and very powerful.
Yeah. How about you, Manisha? You also spoke about trying to block out the noise and really just be laser focused on what your goal is at this time, which is walking away with that crown.
Yes.
What were your key highlights?
So for me, it would be working with different companies. A lot of people are very generous in giving towards this cause, because they see the importance of my advocacy. So I've reached out to a lot of people and they're supporting, and I'm amazed by it and I'm so thankful for it. And like you said, blocking out the noise, I believe with pageantry, we get to see that side that is not so pretty when it comes to people giving their opinions, and we have to know as girls what to take in, what to use as good advice, and like what to, you know, get us going.
That could be a lesson for life in general, I can tell you that.
Filtration.
Let's get you in the conversation, Imani. I was supposed to tell you as well, I have an older sister named Imani. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. I do not.
Faith. In Swahili and Arabic, it means faith.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
What has been the key highlights of your journey? You live in the United States. You spoke about moving back to Belize, not only to give back to your community, but to pursue this really, really head on. I've also seen that your family has arrived in the country to support you. What has been the key highlight?
Yeah, so for me, the key highlight has been communicating with my community. And from being away for so long, I had to really connect with them to make sure that they are the eyes and the ears for me to understand what's really going on in Belize. And I've been connecting with other NGOs, because I have one as well. I've been connecting with stakeholders, teachers, and it has broadened my horizon to understand what the real issue is here in Belize and to solve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Libni, you have such an interesting story. I think when we think of the evolution that Miss Universe has taken, dropping the age barrier, dropping the whole idea of not being able to partake if you're a mom, you really represent this in an entirely unique way. When we think of the potential of sending a Miss Universe Belize, who's not only young, but a mom as well, I think there's a lot of potential for us to stand out. What has really, I think, been interesting in following your journey is the way that you've kind of almost taken it on independently. It seems that you are a one-woman show, almost, and you've been able to go out and interact with people and invite people to access you if they need help, particularly mothers with children having challenges. You've been able to also partner with, I think it's the NICU at the hospital too?
The KHMH, yeah.
What has that endeavor been like? Because you're going from your own personal experience, the challenges that you might have faced as a young mother, to now hopefully providing that support to other people as well.
Yes, so just having the experience of being in the NICU and having that hardship, that loneliness, because here all these beautiful ladies can tell you that pageantry is hard. So imagine being in the hospital knowing that anything that can happen to your baby, seeing a parent like being worried. You want to help, you want to do something, but at the same time you're also worrying about your own baby. And for me, it has just really opened my eyes. Like I said previously, that this was something that wasn't really talked about. And even though I'm really young, I'm 19, I do believe that I have the potential to go for this crown. And being a mother just boosts me up. Like my baby boy, I'm always bringing him along with me.
My follow-up question, though, I have to ask you, because you posted a very powerful image on your social media of you breastfeeding your son. And you can obviously see how young he is. And with all the busy days and busy nights, what has it been like for you being able to divide yourself, Libni as mom, but Libni as Miss Universe hopeful?
Well, at the beginning it wasn't really as challenging because I had to wait for the hospital to give approval for me to visit, for the schools, and just in general for mothers to feel comfortable enough to share their experiences and things like that. But at the middle of advocacy month, it became a little bit more challenging. But I have had my mother with me, my mom, my mom and my dad. That's been so helpful.
A testament to the village that it takes, I imagine.
Yes, it does. And being here, I know that it is all worth it. Just recently, before coming and sitting here, my mom sent me a video of my baby just playing and googling, and I was like, my baby. But I'm doing this for him and for all those baby that needs our voice. Like, in all honesty, this is really something that needs to be highlighted. So even beyond the crown or this pageantry, this is something that we should really look into in doing organization to help these mothers, help these families.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, speaking of a powerful voice and being a voice in your community, we have Hope Panton here, and you've also highlighted a really interesting movement in the way that you've used your love for the ocean and the sea and marine conservation to encourage people to also share in the same practices. What has that been like, being able to create this entire movement? I'm using your bag, just so you know.
Good. Small actions, big waves. I am just fueled by the conversation. People reach out to me every day, tour guides, fishermen, people supporting organizations. They just want to talk and they want the message to be out there, because I keep on saying the sea is a part of Belizean identity, and I feel that we all can relate to the passion behind it.
Yeah. Well, I don't have much time with you, but I have two main questions that I want to ask, and perhaps we can decide how we're going to split it up.
Yes.
On the screen behind me says, more than a crown. What does it mean to you ladies, that particular statement right there?
Well,
I imagine this role is indeed more than a crown.
It certainly is. Being an ambassador for your country in this regard, it's about purpose. You have to feel it, you have to want it, you have to really feel the message you're relaying to people in order for people to want to support you. So it's very important to be driven by your purpose when you're doing this.
Libni, more than a crown.
More than a crown. So more than anything in general, just being the voice, like, you know, relating to so many mothers, because with me you can section it out, being a mom, being a teen mom, so it's just relatability, and having so many people, like, you know, look up to me and just being the voice.
Yeah. Imani?
I feel that the crown comes with responsibility, and being an influencer to your country means that people are watching your actions, so you have to set an example. And I always like to say that most people think that the crown just means beauty, but beauty only opens doors, but what really makes change is your actions.
Yeah. I'm going to pause here just because we don't have much time. I'm going to ask the last three ladies, and we're going to include Miss Halima in it. What's your message to young girls? What's the most important message you think that young girls should know? Think if you have a sister, if you have a little cousin, or I know we have young viewers, and I know we've met them tuning in. What's your message to them?
Advice would be to believe in yourself. Nothing is impossible. You can do it no matter what. Just put your mind to it and go on from there.
I would say that confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something that grows over time if you're determined. But people who are confident and can present themselves in a confident way really have the capability to change everything in their life. Barriers can be broken, conversations can be presented that would never happen before, and it really does change the game.
Yeah. Well, I know you have a lot of young admirers, Halima. And I'm
young and old.
Young and old, older. But what's your message to young girls? What do you hope for them to see in your life?
So I was once in a position where I felt like I wasn't valued enough, and where I felt like I didn't belong in certain spaces. So I want to tell them that no matter where you come from, no matter how much money you have or what you grew up with, you deserve to occupy as many or any spaces that you desire to occupy. And if there's not a space for you, create one, because you have the potential to do so. It's all about having that self-confidence. It's not about what you have. It's outside your material. It's about what you have in your heart. Create those spaces and go out there and show people what you're capable of, because we need you. We need you to be out here making change just as these lovely ladies are, and I have done over the past year. If I can do it, it sounds cliche, but so can you.
Yeah. Our assistant producer would say, mother. Well, ladies, it has been a pleasure being joined by you, and I know that the Civic's going to be crowded come Saturday, so I really wish you guys all the best. Get sleep where you can, and just enjoy the moment.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the message.
All right. We take our final break, but don't go anywhere, because if you love a sweet treat, so do we. We're going to be having MUB Bakers when we come back.
Full-Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full-Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Let's take a journey through the core functions of the Social Security Board. It all starts with registering as an insured person, employer, or a self-employed individual. Sign up for a portal account to manage your Social Security information online. Just provide accurate information and click Create. This will give you access to a range of services and benefits. Next, your contribution, along with investments and other income, are collected and distributed into 3 funds. This ensures that the SSB fund is securely utilized to support various benefit programs. The SSB is committed to providing essential benefits such as sickness, maternity, injury, and pension. These benefits are paid out to eligible individuals as a part of the Social Security coverage. We help you navigate through life's challenges with financial security. Annual surplus accumulates to grow the fund each year. This surplus is invested into various industries, contributing to the growth and development of our nation. With each passing year, the fund continues to grow due to the annual surplus and interest revenue earned from prudent investments. This surplus, along with reserves, helps to bolster the SSB fund and provide a safety net for those in need. We've arrived at the end of our journey to better understanding how the SSB works. We remain committed to serving you and building a secure future for all Belizeans.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's near you and get 19 to 25% off selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, Charbroil barbecue grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, Benny's. Benny's, Benny's, oh.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Curacao, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
My name is Carlton Flowers and I'm the owner of Back to My Roots Art from the Heart, and in this store I produce a lot of handmade ornaments. Before I had access, it was a big problem because the tourist doesn't carry as much cash. We needed to have the machine to make the business a success. Dealing with the machine, I don't have to take time out from the store to go and or send people to go to the bank. I would recommend Belize Bank digital service because it has done a lot for me personally. It has done a lot for my business. It helps me with paying my bills online, and I really appreciate that the staff took time out and teach me what I needed to get done. So I'm very happy that now I can do it confidently on my own.
our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Carrizo, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
Hi there. Are you on your phone right now, scrolling on social media, listening to the radio, or watching TV? Have you ever stopped to think, what's powering my device right now? You see, electricity is essential for everyday life, powering our homes, businesses, transportation, and of course, that one binge-worthy series that you just can't stop watching. But how does it all work? This season on the What's and Why's of Energy, we're taking you behind the scenes, bringing you the latest updates and answers to your biggest energy questions. My name is Emmanuel Petch, and I invite you to join us as we go live on Facebook and get ready to see energy in a whole new light. Like, share, and follow us to be part of the conversation.
Belize Electricity Limited, providing you safe and reliable power when you need it.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Carrizo, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
Welcome back. We are closing with some sweet treats in our final conversation. And this morning we are joined by Miriam Cal. She's the owner of Maitos Cal Limited. Also here with us is Karim Madrid. He's the manager of Ochuna. And Fernando Zib. He's a pastry chef also representing Ochuna. This morning they're here to not only share some sweet treats with us, but talk about some of the products that they use that have been able to make these delectable sweets perfect for you guys to consume. Good morning, guys, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so we have loads of things on display here. Let's begin with some of the products that we have over there by Paul. You are the owner of Maitos Cal Limited, Miss Miriam. Talk to us about the products that you use.
Yes, last time we came with our line of MUB Baker. Now we are the importers of Il Sofrito, butter and margarines, and we are here to showcase, along with Ochona, that our butter has 84% butter fat. But if you want to cut costs, because butter has a price, the better the quality, the higher the price, Ochona has proven that our margarine produces excellent French breads.
Wow.
Right? Because
they don't
French
even look
breads,
real.
Yeah. French bread requires high butter fat content, right? But because in the Belize market, sometimes we need to cut costs and make things more economic. We have the margarine line also, such as the faite, the croissant, and we have the whipped dough. The whipped dough is especially like for cakes and buttercreams and stuff like that.
Right.
So just to be clear, this is the Il Sofrito brand.
Yes.
This is not the MUB Baker brand. That's a different brand that you import.
We're also the importers of MUB Baker,
Okay.
yes.
So we don't got no MUB Baker's products here today, right? Just to be clear.
The coloring, we use the gel color of MUB Baker to get that red color.
Okay, excellent. So these are excellent products for
baking.
What? Baking.
It could be either for the pastry or the bakery.
Right? Because I see this one has croissant specifically on
yes,
it.
this has faite.
What's faite?
Faite is more almost like the croissant, but to get that layer, like what we call in Belize hojaldras, right?
And our viewers still can't smell it, but it's very strong. It's a potent
you can
smell.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, what you're smelling is our butter, right? In Belize, we don't always deal with very high quality butter. I think the highest in the market was like 40% before, right? So butter, because it's a dairy derivative, has that dairy smell, right? So that is what you're smelling. Then Il Sofrito also makes the chocolate ganache already for you. Instead of you having to melt everything, we have dark chocolate and we have the white chocolate. And unlike the other, Il Sofrito uses real cocoa paste on their ganache. That's where it needs to be refrigerated, right? It's not just a chocolate flavoring.
Yeah, it's real cacao.
Yes.
Well, let's get Ochona in the conversation. As we mentioned, we are joined by Karim and Fernando. Let's talk about how you guys have been able to use some of these products in the pastries that you make.
Están preguntando cómo usas las cremas y las mantequillas en los productos y los panes que hacemos.
And just before we get an answer, Karim is the translator. Yes. So we are speaking directly to Fernando as the pastry chef, and Karim will be translating.
Yes. Fernando has worked in Europe. He has his he learned his French bakery directly from France, so he is very well knowledge.
Okay.
Bonjour.
Pues todo esto, se usa la margarina de esto que tiene un
Okay, yeah, you can break it apart. Yeah, go right ahead.
total de grasa de 64% de grasa. Eso hace que el pan esté más crujiente.
Okay, so basically for the croissant, we use this Isafrigo butter that has about 70 to 75% fat, and then we use that especially for the croissants. Okay. So here we have to give it that crunch on the croissants actually. So we have the plain croissants, cinnamon rolls. This one we call it the Ochona croissants, and this is actually a chocolate croissant, so it's refilled with chocolate inside. And then our house baguettes.
Okay. So well, he's going to talk about the house baguettes now?
Yeah.
I wanted to know what's special about the butter that makes the product what it is for Ochona.
¿Quieres saber qué es lo especial de la mantequilla que hace el producto que se mire más mejor, que esté más bien?
Pues la calidad está mucho mejor, sí, por la grasa que tiene la mantequilla.
Okay, so what makes it a lot better with the butter itself is that the quality of butter is a lot better because of the fat. So we have actually, when we just started, we were using different brand of butters, but we couldn't get the croissant to the point that we actually wanted to get it. So when we start to use this type of butter here, we actually give it more flavor. It became more crunchy and more softer inside.
Yeah. Should I take your word for it, or should I try it?
We could cut it up actually.
Okay, perfect.
Go right ahead, because
there's a knife. What you want?
I trust you, but I don't know if I trust you enough.
Take my word. Take my word for it. If not, I'm paying.
I have my own tongue. All right, so it's gonna cut that open for us. And you see that crunch?
Yes.
Yes, a croissant should have a crispy outside and a soft, airy inside.
Show it to the camera.
So the inside of the croissant, a real croissant, you see the layers of the croissant itself inside. So as you can see the layer when it's Croissant is actually a technique to get the croissant
Like a
to the point.
folding,
Yes, it's folding on top.
then you blend
yes,
it.
folding,
I watch
folding
a lot
on
of
top,
videos.
and then you blend it.
Okay.
The other one, that's the Ochuna croissant here, is actually refilled with the.
The chocolate.
It's refilled. This one is refilled with chocolate, and then this one is refilled with a granage.
Okay.
Corta tu chocolate y el granage, por favor.
Chocolate.
Chocolate, chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate. So you'd have the ganache in that one.
Yes, the chocolate, and then we didn't put much of it, but it's in there, and then we have this one right over here as well.
How is it, Paul?
It's very soft.
Crunchy?
It's crunch. Look, it's like you can't get rid of the crunch.
Oh my God, that looks so good.
So this is the house Ochuna croissant with cream, pastry cream, the ganache inside.
But it's so delicious.
Yes, that looks so
it is
good.
actually. So it almost feels like fresh, right? It's delicious. Let me try the chocolate one just.
Have
for
you
the
seen
sake
that? That one looks.
Yeah, that's the
One
Ochuna croissant,
Yeah,
right?
we call this the Ochuna croissant. So
Let me just try this one
go
over
ahead.
here. This one to cut from it.
So, aside from croissants, we have some other items here on display. We have some gelatin mixes, coffees, and I imagine this is for cake decorating as well.
Yes, so for that one, he's going to talk a little bit more of that, and then he's going to decorate it. So this is our signature tres leches, as well using some of their product that they import.
Oh, nice.
So for the tres leches, we're using their tres leches isifrigo as well.
Okay.
And then this actually combines good with the coffees as well.
So, when you say tres leches, what do you do with that?
It's a pre-mix. Well, normally in Belize, when you would do the tres leches, you need to take the 3 milks and mix it together, right? The condensed, the whole milk and evaporated. What this comes is already pre-mixed. It's very lactose-based, right? We already did a class once with this, and what we did, the students were able to alter it also to their taste. If they wanted it sweeter, they added more condensed milk and stuff. But because it's already modified, it gives you a longer shelf life. For example, tres leches, because of the milk, will not last you very long. The spoilage rate is quick. So this helps you in not
Preserve
having
it?
that high, yes, because it already has.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So you have drinks, right?
Coffee.
From-
Ochuna makes coffee.
from-
And you can
you
add
use
that,
this?
yes, you
Yes.
can add that as
Really?
a flavor.
You can add
yes.
those as
You gotta
flavor
try it,
in the
Paul.
coffees.
So Sabrina, why are you not trying anything?
I'm gonna be helping to decorate
Okay,
stuff.
so what
that
do
you
we
can try
have
it.
over there? What with
Okay.
this one first? This cup with the purple.
So this is actually
Okay, let's
this
go
one.
over there first.
This one here is actually our cinnamon iced coffee.
Nice. So
Yes.
this doesn't have all the trimmings. It's just
No, it's
basic
just
iced
basic
coffee.
iced coffee
And
with
what
a
did you
little
add
bit
into?
of-
Oh, you have a
Yes.
straw.
So for this
My
one,
apologies. I feel like I'm in the streets at this point, just popping open the cover.
It was made
Breakfast is
couple minutes
covered.
ago.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So what does it have? This
Yes,
The
it has
tres
a little bit
leches
of the
milk.
tres leches milk.
So
Oh,
3
yeah.
milk.
Oh, that's
So
amazing.
it would be condensed,
That's first
evaporated
of all.
milk and...
Yeah, that's what they make it here in Belize. But
First
this-
of all, it's really good coffee. The cinnamon pops, but then the milk. Like you're telling me it's tres leches milk. It's a milk that I've never had before.
Do you like tres leches?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know you could put it in a drink. Right? I had no idea you could put it in a drink, but
All
this
right.
is really good.
I want to highlight
Wow.
these really quickly because this is Jello.
Yes, so that's what we call that is actually a mosaico gelatin.
Oh.
So we just started that. We have different flavors as well: strawberries, blueberries, lemon flavored. So we just started that about 2 weeks ago at Ochuna coffee shop and daily restaurant.
How has it been received by
Actually,
the
it
public?
has been received pretty much good. So
Okay.
this gelatin here is not too sweet, but it's just into perfection, especially for those that are not don't like a lot of sugar and so forth.
Is that what we're
So
seeing
that's
in those
the
bags?
perfect.
No.
No.
These are what we call, well, in Belize we call it piping gel, right? The
Piping
piping
gel,
gels, yes, they're flavored. This is strawberry. You can smell right through the bag. It smells like strawberry. And then we have the lime. You can smell the lime on it. These are used either to do writing, to decorate on the top.
And we're going to be doing
fillings.
that today, right?
We did a class where we used the whipping cream and we flavored it with this, and it gave you a strawberry flavored whipping cream.
Okay. So,
and this is a mirror glaze.
Oh, this is okay. So we're gonna be decorating, and Fernando will be. I've offered myself as an assistant, guys.
Go right ahead. Do your
Okay.
thing.
So, wait, it's already okay. So you're doing like. Okay. I got you. I got you. Okay. I have to be quick because you know I have so much other customers to try to get then cake. Oui. I already can tell you that the consistency of this is very, very great. I don't know if that was good.
Are you familiar with doing stuff like that? No, well, you look like an expert. So
I do, thanks.
I'm
Okay.
just kidding, but yeah, keep it up.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty.
I like how it's dripping down the side. Is that intentional? Like that's
Yes,
your part
that
of your
was
design?
intentional.
Yeah, right.
It was, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
That's intentional.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh wow. No, he did that.
I know.
It's like
It looks so
put you to
good.
shame.
Oh, wait. Okay, so what are we doing now? Oh, that looks so pretty. Okay, got it.
Again, this is all from the products that you've imported.
Yes,
all of that
Il
is from
Frigo also has the whipping cream.
That's what they're using there right
Yes.
now, the whipping cream.
The reason we
Go
try to
ahead.
bring these things like the ganache pre-made and stuff,
Mhm.
guys, because we need to understand that time is money in a business, right? So if you're making cakes and stuff to sell, why you want to waste time mixing everything for your own thing
Oh,
when you
that's
can
so
just get
true.
to the end and then you have the stability and the consistency of a pre-made item.
And then you're able to produce more
With your time, yes.
and make more money at the end of the day
Yes.
because that's why we're in business, to
Yes.
serve and to make money, right? So this helps that process. I love that.
Okay.
All right, how is it going over there, Sab? What are you doing now?
I'm decorating it.
Okay. Is it only one side you're doing for now?
Well, that's all we have. This is intentional.
Okay, it's all intentional.
Yeah. Okay. So are we adding strawberries
Yes,
on top?
yes.
Yes, I
Okay,
already
okay.
got them.
Great.
The thing I learned from the chef, they say, in anything you do, you learn the technique and then your creativity takes over. So when it comes to decorating and the final touches, it's pretty much your imagination and your preference.
Because you already got the technique
Yes.
down. Yeah, that makes sense.
¿Alguien cumpleaños aquí?
Any birthday here, they said?
Today is my anniversary.
Yes, it's his anniversry.
Happy
Yes,
anniversary.
thank you. Yeah, he didn't seem happy about that. He wants a
He
birthday.
understands you good.
He's like, not
All right.
It's not love.
Fantastic.
Birthdays.
Okay.
She tried something.
I did. It looks very, very good.
Finish.
Oh,
And
wow.
finished.
Look at that. It doesn't look like a crown and a head. Isn't this
Yeah.
just perfect?
Thank you, Paul.
Excellent. Yeah,
Well,
that's excellent.
These are just some of the things that can be done. We also have some cakes over here. What are these?
Actually, for that one, we have the chocolate cake. We call it Joffre chocolate cake.
Mhm.
And the other one is actually tiramisu.
Oh, tiramisu.
Yeah, so
Ooh. All right, and those that you can also get at Ochuna.
yes, those you can also get it out Chuna.
So tell us, where can we get these products?
Well, we tend to have these products at least in one major supermarket wherever in every district, right? A lot of shops don't really know much about the pastry industry. There is a demand for it. So, but we at least have one store in every in every town or major town that carries our products, right? So far, our butters and margarines are doing excellent. These are about to enter the market this week, right?
Okay.
The clear one is like a glaze. For example, if you do this cake, right? What happens, the berries eventually start to wither because of the
Yeah.
oxidation. So the clear one is for you to brush it and then it stops that oxidation from happening.
That's fantastic.
Right?
Really just making lives easier for
Yes,
bakers
exactly.
as well.
It's just about making the work easier and more time efficient.
So what's the supermarket that we can get these products at? You said one major supermarket across the country?
Okay, we had the butters in Twins.
Okay.
Right? In Orange Walk, we have 123, we have A Mart. In San Ignacio, we have Lynn's. In Belmopan, we have Sunny City. We have Uncle Supermarket. In Bango Creek, we have Ming Store. In Dangriga, we have Hong Chen Supermarket and Family Import Supermarket.
Are you guys open to having other supermarkets carry the product?
Yes, of course, yes.
And if people would like to reach out to you guys, how can they do so?
They can, for example, we supply Ochuna directly.
Okay, perfect. So what's the way that we can reach out to you guys?
You can find us on our Facebook at Maito Can Limited, right? There you can find our website number, our WhatsApp number, and our we answer our messenger.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and thank you to Achuna as well for joining us on set and sharing just how well you all incorporate this product really into your actual menu and your menu items. That's excellent.
All right.
So I want to thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you very much for hosting us. With a pleasure.
And that does it for our show this morning. It has been so much fun, Paul. We want to say a huge thank you to all of our guests who joined us, but also you guys for tuning in with us. It is June 24th, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to ya. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email. That's oie@channel5belize.com.
And you can also catch us live on Facebook every weekday morning at Open Your Eyes BZ.
As well as Instagram for behind the scenes contents. That's OIE Belize. You can even call us or text us on our OIE phone number. That's 675-2555. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes
and start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Tuesday, Belize. Stay dry, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.